Okay, welcome to today's discussion on 10 ways financial advisors can supercharge their marketing using AI tools. We'll actually be covering 5 points today and then 5 items next week. But I am joined by Sean Bailey, who is Horse's Mouth Editor-in-Chief, and he's also the leader and creator of the upcoming AI Marketing for Advisors workshop, which is a 5-week virtual workshop that starts April 3rd. That's all about getting advisors up and running with an effective AI-driven marketing plan that they can execute with these tools far easier and in far less time than ever before. So, Sean, thank you for being with me today.
Of
Uh,
course.
let's let's start with repurposing content. Or content creation, I should say.
Yeah.
Many advisors struggle with this. Generating content is a thing you got to do consistently if you want it to be effective. So that means a lot of time. So how can advisors use AI tools to save time repurposing existing materials, webinars, slide decks, into other format types, such as blog posts or social media content?
Yeah, so with the advent of what was called Web 2.0 sometime in like the mid 90s or something like that, this notion of content marketing arose. And, at the same time, uh, did I say I actually meant the mid 2000s, not the mid 1990s. Um, the first phase of the internet was, more or less like remember Windows 95 and Explorer and Netscape started 95 or so. By 2005, um, blogs were exploding. People were becoming, very plugged in to the internet. And then shortly thereafter, Steve Jobs came along with the iPhone, and suddenly the whole world is like constantly consuming content. And traditional marketers realized, our set plays of having some brochures, whatever, in the past just wasn't going to work anymore, and that to stand out from the crowd, you needed to participate in what was called content marketing, which is to position yourself as a thought leader in your marketplace. And you do that by, writing blog posts. So, well, blog posts or just articles or email newsletters, whatever the case may be. Now, here's the thing. Advisors are a classic profession of too many hats, not enough time, one thing. Second of all, as to make a broad generalization, they're not the greatest writers in the world or have an inclination to go into writing. That's why they got into finance, right? Um, and uh, and so it has been a challenge for people, even those who want to market. It's been a challenge, or it's been expensive to produce content on a regular basis. But that, in fact, is what the key recommendation is in the content marketing world. So advisors have kind of limped along and been struggling with this, for quite some time, feeling overwhelmed, building their businesses, marketing inconsistently, uh, and so now along in late 2022 comes this thing called ChatGPT, which has now kicked off an absolutely mind-blowing revolution of on-demand intelligence, where people are able to now learn to, in essence, co-write or tap into a co-intelligence or an expanded intelligence that actually allows them to do things like write meaningful blog posts or social media updates about any topic of interest to them that they think their clients are interested in. And so um, repurposing content is an actually a really fast way to get going with using AI effectively. We had an advisor in our program, in our intro to AI program that was last fall, who said, boy, he had a blog and he really has been wanting for years to have more consistent content there. He came into our program. He learned um, how to reposition content or repurpose content, and suddenly he was producing blog posts on a regular basis. How was he doing that? Well, he was good at putting on webinars. He was smart enough to do that. His clients liked it. And so he learned in our program that, you could look at a, 25 slide deck presentation. And, it's a topic that you and your clients are interested in. Say it's something like, IRA planning or something like that. And he could isolate within his deck a particular topic, say, 3 slides on, taking RMDs, whatever the case may be, right? And he learned that he can just like take those 3 slides, save them off, upload them into ChatGPT, and then have a short back and forth conversation with ChatGPT where the end result is a 500-word blog post about your RMD planning for your IRAs. And he was like A, blown away, B, immediately and regularly doing this sort of thing. He reinvigorated his email newsletter and his blog on his website, and his clients and prospects immediately started reacting to it. So that is a key thing that we teach in the class. There's all sorts of materials that advisors can effectively repurpose to create their own customized content for their clients. Advisors are getting research reports from the firms, from asset managers, and any particular topic that uh, you, the advisor, may identify as something that is aligning with um, your own worldview that you like to reinforce with your clients and you like to show off the prospects. Well, you can take that PDF from JP Morgan or whomever it is and isolate a portion of it, like I was just mentioning with the slides before. And again, you can upload it, have a conversation with ChatGPT, tell it what it is you're interested in, and you learn to with the proper understanding of no code coding, that is called prompting. That's the amazing thing that we teach. At the beginning of all our classes, we give you introduction to how to communicate and how to command these AI models. People often make the mistake of kind of treating them like search engines. And that's not how I mean, it makes sense. You might, you pull up a box that looks like the search box. And so you type in 3 words like you do at Google. But actually, it's a little bit more than that, but it's not too hard. And it's all in English. You just learn to write a certain number of structured sentences and then listen to what the AI says back. And you engage in some back and forth. And boom, you then have a good draft in no time at all, you have a good draft of a potential blog post or an article for your newsletter. Print it out, get out a pen, mark it up some more, make the changes. And, in about 20% of the time that it normally would take, you have a very polished piece of content that that will resonate with your clients and will resonate with your prospects as well. So that's one answer to that question, Doug, about how to repurpose existing materials.
Yeah, I think we had one advisor in our last AI marketing workshop who said he phrased it, I'm an ideas guy and I want to come up with the idea and have AI, write it for me. And I think a lot of advisors are the same way. Like they have the ideas, maybe they don't, want to necessarily, learn how to write them down or, in the best way. Well, now you have an AI tool
Yeah,
to help you out.
this is what I call co-writing, and you're
Mm.
co-writing with your AI. And this is a skill set that is developed over time, but people learn it in the program, and we teach them very specifically the key things you need to do to train your AI model to write and sound just like you, so that when the co-writing is coming out, it's not sounding like kind of generic ChatGPT content. It actually is written in your voice and in your style. And, and this is what deepens the notion of co-writing. When you take these steps to use these tools, it's kind of like graphic artists before the invention of personal computers. If you know anything about graphic artists, uh, they would produce images by hand. They would like literally cut and paste things and take pictures of them that then will become, part of the printing process. very labor intensive and taking a long time, right? But then along came something like Photoshop and first personal computers, then Photoshop, and suddenly these graphic artists were able to do unbelievable things that they could only have imagined in their mind, but they could never have done exclusively with their hands. And it's the same thing now with these AI models when it comes to thinking and writing and brainstorming. Um, uh, all of us have, the equivalent of Photoshop, but it's like Photoshop for everything in essence. I mean, what I mean by that is it's like it's been democratized. We all have access to it now. Nobody should be a bad writer. There shouldn't be bad writing going forward in the future. People should be able to, communicate absolutely clearly. And one of the powers of these AI models is they've been trained to understand. Understand English, understand how to write, understand what good writing is, and you can leverage these tools in any variety of way to do a better job with your clients, better, faster, more efficient, higher quality. Uh, I know it sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. And when people come through our programs, like I guess we're going to have the AI marketing program starts a week from this Thursday. People come through the program and they're like, they're really amazed. There's many jaw-dropping moments in these programs, and people come out the other side and realize that the manner in which they work going forward in the future, their workflows are changing dramatically and for the better.
Yeah, and I'm glad you noted the fact that a lot of advisors are concerned about writing that ChatGPT, for instance, producing being bland, generic, canned sounding. Not if you train it correctly. Not if you train it correctly, it can sound very like you. So
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you.
No, I
Yeah.
mean in the class we have a customized, AI tool that we've created it's called the horse's mouth writing style interviewer, and it takes about 7 to 10 minutes of the advisor answering some questions from the AI model. It's really measuring your personality on a variety of levels, and then it produces a bit of it's the techiest part of the whole program, but it produces this tiny little bit of code that includes your Myers-Briggs score, your Colby score, your DISC score, your love language score, and it produces them in a concise little code that we put into the place on ChatGPT where you customize. It's called customize your customized ChatGPT, and in that spot, you're answering the question the AI model, ChatGPT, is asking you, how should I sound when I'm writing for you? And then you plug in this code that reflects your Myers-Briggs and these other personality scores, and then that and a few other things, and the writing starts to sound like you, has your voice, your tone. But frankly, most of the time, the writing is going to be much better than most advisors' writing. It's really much better than the average person's writing by far. We've just reached that point in the last few months. A year ago, that might have been a little more debatable. And of course, this sort of thing is like driving, people in academia nuts because it's just upending everything about the idea of writing and thinking. And so we're in one of these chaotic periods where I think things are going to resolve themselves on the education front, in a few more years. But anyway, for right now, advisors, you come through our program and we'll teach you how to have AI write in a way that is satisfying to you and is clear and even, persuasive when it needs to be.
Okay, great. Well, let's move on to use case number two, which is of course defining your ideal client persona. All right, for a long time, this is kind of the first port of call when you are working on your marketing or your marketing strategy. You got to define an ideal client persona, but it's quite a process, and now we have
Yeah.
AI to help us do it. So, Sean, can you kind of walk us through how these tools are helping advisors to come up with that persona and then leverage it to make their marketing strategy that much more effective?
Yeah, and in fact, what happens when you go through the program is we step you through another AI tool that we've created, and it usually creates 2 to 3 personas based on you answering some questions about your existing client base, and or if you have desire to create a niche and go after a different group of people. But again, you go back and forth answering some questions, and then the output are some very detailed um, stories, really. They're like stories of people that are based on you answering these questions about what your typical clients are like. And now, when you have these ideal client personas, they can be used tactically in your prompting, in your communication with the AI models, producing some marketing content, whatever it may be. You can reference your ideal client personas as part of your marketing writing. And so then you're not getting generic AI marketing output. You're actually getting output by the AI model that has looked at and understood and actually created, based on you answering questions, your ideal client persona. And so when you're writing a landing page, when you're writing a blog, when you're writing an email, it in the background is taking into consideration who your best clients are. So people learn how to do that in the class. And one of the folks in our class recently, these AI models are very enthusiastic and want to satisfy and please. And so this one advisor got to the end of his interactions about creating his ideal client persona, and then the AI model said, "Would you like me to go ahead and now create a case study of one of your ideal client, a case study of what it's like to work with your firm based on this ideal client persona?" And the advisor said, "Well, okay, yeah, that's a great idea. Go ahead and do it." And then it did it, and he was like totally floored by this mini case study that was written because it was exactly the sort of thing that he does with his clients all the time. And then he realized, hey, I have a prospect coming in tomorrow who also actually fits very well my ideal client persona. So he asked the AI model, now based on the case study, can you draft? I've got a client coming in tomorrow. Can you draft an email where I tell him I'm looking forward to seeing him and I just wanted to share with him, like, based on, my past work, clients, prospects, or clients that are like you, this is how we work together. And so this case study the AI created was modified and turned into a letter that the advisor then modified and made a few more changes on and sent it off to the client. And he was pleased, and he said the meeting with the client went extremely well, also. So yeah, the idea of client personas thing is like, yeah, something you do early on in your career, and then you don't even think about it because you get too busy building your business or just like keeping things going, and then you come back to realizing, hey, marketing is important. I know I used to say I didn't have enough time to do it. Now, because of these AI models, we can find ways to get back to marketing, and the marketing is going to be better, faster, more clear, more persuasive than ever before. So, that's another amazing thing. And so the ideal client persona is our key aspect of that, really bringing the marketing to life.
And these AI tools like ChatGPT, they can remember these personas, and it can influence everything you have it create into the future. So it's
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that happens on multiple levels, what you learn in the program. Like some portion of it goes into the back end, sort of like what you might refer to as system prompts, but where you're just customizing it, like that personality codes I mentioned before. And then other things can be that you can literally, for some particular marketing tasks, you might actually upload a copy of your ideal client persona as part of a prompt where you're trying to achieve something, and then you'll get even better results there. And then sometimes also you can attach things that you've previously created that are good, that you like, that have your voice, and you can tell the AI model, um, let's use this previous thing we've done together as an example of the kind of thing I want to create now going forward. And so you start to get, what's really important and often lacking is you get this sort of consistency consistency within your marketing. That is the kind of consistency that actually, when you're talking about building a brand, that is uh, the kinds of messages that you are speaking to that are perfectly aligned or as closely aligned as possible with your target audience. That kind of stuff will supercharge your marketing. And so that's just um, another benefit of collaborating with AI to drive your marketing.
Okay, well, let's move on to how advisors can use these tools with client communication because, it is a perennial challenge of explaining often dense, complex
Huh,
financial
sure.
topics to clients in a way that they can understand. So how is AI, simplifying this and making this
Yeah.
easier?
Well, one of the amazing things about AI is, you can tell it that yeah, I've got a client coming in. Um, we're going to be discussing bond ladders or interest rates and or Monte Carlo simulation. Uh, and all these things are just so laden with jargon and they're so abstract. And so the AI models, you can say, explain, a Monte Carlo simulation to me like I'm a kindergartner, or explain it to me like I'm a fifth grader, or I'm a high school graduate, or I'm a college graduate, or I'm a PhD. You can go up and down the ladder where you're matching your explanation to the level that you think your client is at, right? So you wouldn't want a client coming in who is an experienced person in the financial services area, maybe, and you wouldn't want to be discussing, bond ladders or interest rates with him as if he was a kindergartner, right? You would want to, discuss it in a way that is, more aligned with his level or knowledge. So with the right kind of prompting, you can um, have and use ChatGPT or these other AI models to explain tricky, dense, abstract financial planning and investment management concepts and have them broken down and use metaphors and um, uh, communicate them in massively clearer ways than uh, we have ever had access to before, really.
Yeah. And what about producing things like, video scripts, educational materials? I mean, this is making
Yeah,
those effective with the
same
language
thing,
used.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
again, you can, if you're wanting to do a series of say 2 to 3 minute videos about various aspects of financial planning. Uh, the AI model, you have a little interview with the AI model, go back and forth, and then you prompt it to go ahead and create a script. And then, you say, look, that conversation you'll have with the AI model, because we teach people um, an advanced, prompting framework. In my promotional webinars, we teach the absolute basic fundamental, what I consider the fundamental framework for talking with an AI, which is something called role task format. But when in any of our classes, we take that to another level and we go more deeper. And one of them is asking the AI model to ask you questions back. When you engage in this back and forth and you're answering questions of the AI model, you are honing it so that it is going to be laser focused in its response and you get better results because of that. And so then if you're teeing it up for a 2 to 3 minute you can tee it up for a 2 to 3 minute podcast script or video script where you're explaining um, asset allocation or diversification or how social security works or interest rates, any topic, and you'll be amazed that something that you would have had to have spent literally, I mean, to produce a series of videos on some financial planning terms, I mean, it would take hours and hours and thousands of dollars and working with an outside marketing consultant usually to write a good script. And now all of that can be done in, you know, depending upon how deep and how long you want to go, from half an hour to a few hours, something that would have taken literally weeks to get a workable script where you're ready to, hit the record button and look at the camera and talk to your clients. So um, this totally changes everything on that front.
Yeah, it used to be a huge roadblock. I want to get started with video, but I don't know what to make. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to make videos about. Well, now you have as many ideas as you want, and they're ready to go for
Yes,
you to
right.
push record.
Yes, because you have now a virtual assistant, or practically maybe even, a year ago, I would say it would be a virtual assistant or a very smart intern. Now, you know, um, these AI models are really like having an alter ego who is as smart or smarter than you in certain areas, right? I mean, that's the key thing. These AI models, we all have gaps, right? We all have gaps. And now these AI models can fill your gaps when needed. So you aren't a good writer, now you've got a good writer, right? You aren't necessarily a strategic thinker, now you've got a partner who's an excellent strategic thinker. Or you're a pretty decent strategic thinker, but you can never figure out how to translate the strategy into doable tactics. Now you've got a partner who can help you move from strategy and translate your strategy into tactics and move your business forward. So, um, the thing that most of the world still hasn't understood is that these AI models are going to make all of us smarter, more effective, and more powerful within our own little worlds. And you know, listen, there's some downsides to that too. These things are so powerful, you can be seduced by their power. You can lose perspective sometimes, and so you also need to, bring your own. You need to recognize that, a key thing we teach in our programs is you need to be the human in the loop, right? You cannot be letting these things run amok and just be accepting what they create for you and put them out into the world. You need, and we teach, you how to have, a proper skeptical but effective collaboration, with these co-intelligences.
All right, let's move on to meeting prep. Whether with clients or prospects. How can AI help advisors, with researching for that meeting or building agendas, effective agendas?
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing that we have a survey live in the field, and I was just looking at it earlier today, uh, and I think like only you know like maybe let's see if I can pull it up here. Maybe like I don't know, 10 or 13 or 18%, some small amount are of advisors are using um, the AI models, ChatGPT, to prepare for client meetings. And most people probably haven't even thought about it that way because, there is a pyramid. This guy, David Pasiak, created this thing that kind of mimics Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And he kind of created sort of the hierarchy of, AI actions. And so at the bottom is the super repetitive stuff. In the middle is kind of content creation. So most advisors are working in the middle to lower tier of the pyramid. All the way at the top of the pyramid is strategy, what I was thinking about before. And so if you have a client coming in who you've been with for a while, you know what's going on. They're coming to you because they have a particular tricky issue that's going on. Well, you can prepare for that meeting. You can turn to the AI model and give it some context. Say, I got a client coming in, and you're not sharing personal identifiable information, but you got a client coming in. The client has this particular challenge. Okay. Uh, in advance of our meeting, I want you, the AI model, to act as an expert who has 30 years experience working effectively in whatever the challenge is. Okay. Uh, in advance of the meeting, I want us to have a conversation, the AI model and you, the advisor. I want us to have a conversation about this challenge my client has. And in the end, we're going to, decide how to create a good, meaningful, and effective agenda for our meeting. But first, let's start by having you ask me some questions about this situation. Boom. You kick that off. You have this back and forth strategic conversation about a particular challenge your client has. And it will raise issues. It will tell you stuff that you already know, but it will also raise issues you hadn't thought about. And it will ask you, again, without giving away personal identifiable information, but it'll ask you a little bit more about your client and what the situation is and going on. And the AI model will put its finger on things that you might not have thought about. And all those things taken together, at the end of your conversation with the AI model, you say, now go ahead and prepare for me an agenda for our meeting, and you know, um, timeline. It's going to be an hour-long meeting. We've got 6 items here. Go ahead and let's, allocate certain amount of minutes for each one of these topics, and then let's go back and forth. I can modify, and then the advisor can end up with a very effective and meaningful looking agenda that you can share with the client in the meeting or share it with them in advance. And when you start engaging these AI models up there at the top of the pyramid for the strategic, important client engagement issues, it's like, wow. And hardly anybody's doing that. Most people haven't really thought about it, frankly. But as soon as people in our class saw, we showed them an example and showed them how to do it, the people were coming back and saying, wow, I used that the next day in a meeting with a client, and it was amazing. So, and those are examples where AI is changing that advisor's workflow and the manner in which they think about any of the challenges they have. I was just meeting with we keep up with our classes after the classes are over. We meet once a month. And somebody in the class just yesterday said, uh, one of the things that you said in your class that I had just have come to swear by now is this. I tell them, and I get this, from a great book from the professor at the Wharton School, Ethan Mollick, who wrote the book called Intelligence. And Mollick says, uh, if you're about to engage in any task as a knowledge worker, and you know going in that you're going to spend more than 5 minutes on that task, turn to AI first and have a quick chat with AI about your task. And then this advisor was saying, I do that all the time now. It's totally changed everything I do. And this guy, said he's, struggled for years trying to get some good marketing going. And now he's got a lead magnet and a landing page, and he's about to kick off a LinkedIn, Facebook campaign to drive leads to his website. And these are things that he really wasn't able to do before because none of this was his strong suit. And now the AI, in his case, is filling a gap, a skill set that he didn't have. And not only is it filling it, but it's doing it with unbelievable speed and accuracy and high quality. So,
Yeah.
that's the answer to that one for sure.
Yeah. And it gives you momentum, that critical momentum to keep you driving forward and being consistent and achieving results. So that's a
Yeah, I mean, it
important
gives you a little
factor.
dopamine hit in a way that makes you want to, like, want to do it more or want to do it better. And as soon as you start to see the results, then you are thinking about other ways that you can use this. And it really, we throw around words like transformation and stuff like that, but that's really what I see actually happening are the people who are open to it. And listen, there are only about 26% of advisors based on our most recent survey, which is live in the field now. We got about 25%, 24, 25% or so of advisors who use AI daily. Okay. But the rest, another 70, 75%, uh, I think 40, 30 or 40% aren't using it at all. And then there's this huge number of people using it once a week, once a month, maybe every now and then, whatever. That means they don't understand how to use it, frankly. And so there's that huge audience out there that still has an opportunity to bring these new tools, these new AI tools into their daily practice. And it there's huge benefits that await for those people who are open to saying, as Ethan Mollick says, it takes about 8 to 10 hours of, using the tools effectively, and that's our program is built around that. You go through 8 to 10 hours of doing that, then you get over the hump and you can see and start making connections relating to how these tools can help you do a better job uh, and do a better job for your clients, help you grow your business, and people talking about using it in their personal lives as well in all sorts of different ways. And it's like, you know, it's It's pretty amazing.
Okay. Well, one thing that many advisors overlook is the value of having a strong, articulate value proposition, in their marketing or just in general. So, what kind of AI framework, what kind of framework do we have for advisors to use AI to clarify and express that unique messaging across different platforms they're marketing
Yeah,
on?
like the ideal client persona, the value proposition is something that advisors are taught to think about and address early on in their business, and then they get going and they don't ever think about it again. And so, but the truth is that when you in our program, we introduce advisors to a concept that I believe most of them have probably never seen before. It's called a message platform. It has like 26 elements to it that we develop, collaborate with the AI to create custom message platforms for everybody. Part of the message platform is going to be your value proposition. And so we have a tool, an AI tool that we've created where the advisor goes back and forth. Again, it takes like 5 to 7 minutes, answer a number of questions. It branches between you don't have a value proposition. Well, then it asks you a series of questions to develop a draft value proposition for you. Or you have a value proposition. The AI model says, great, tell us what it is. You tell them, and then you go through a series of questions aimed at uh, enhancing, improving, upgrading, whatever word you want to use to improve your value proposition. And the value proposition and the ideal client personas are all elements of this message platform that we create in the program that is used to create your marketing plan and is used to create your marketing week in or week out or month in and month out over the next 12 months and longer for that matter. And so that's, the value proposition key thing that just doesn't get enough attention. And again, was one of those things where people could spend hours pulling their hair out, thinking about it, hire an outside consultant, interview your clients, whatever the case may be. Um, and then you still might not have something that you feel good about. But now with the power of these AI models, you can get a very effective, customized value proposition that resonates with you and your clients and your ideal client personas. And if you're going after a niche market, it's fantastic for that too. So yeah, Doug. So that's where we are. And we're going to be
Yeah.
having our AI Marketing for Advisors program kicks off a week from this Thursday. I think that going to be like April, what, April 3rd?
April 3rd is when it
April 3rd,
starts.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a 2 hour class once a week for 5 weeks. And it's going to totally change how you think about marketing and how you build your business going forward because you're going to learn how to integrate these super powerful tools into your daily workflow and into your marketing. You're going to leave there with a written marketing plan. We know from studies over and over again that advisors who have a written marketing plan to guide them throughout the year, they vastly succeed at much higher rates in terms of achieving their annual goals compared to those advisors who don't have a plan. So that's kind of why the whole reason we put together the program is, for years we've been trying to get advisors to complete a plan and follow it. And now along has come these AI tools where it has removed so many obstacles that really is no reason that any advisor shouldn't have an, action-driven, written marketing plan that guides them throughout the year. And when you do that, you're going to see you're just going to have, more success than you've had in the past. And, that means that success can equate into more clients and more business, or it can, or you can take the time savings dividend and you can discover that you're able to, take more time off because you've successfully done all the things you need to nurture your business and grow it. And, Thursday afternoon, you can cut out and take Friday off and go to your beach house or go to your cabin or just, kick back at home, whatever the case may be. So you have the option that time savings dividend can be plowed into growing your business or it can be plowed into living the full life and enjoying the fruits of your labor. Either way, I can't see going forward advisors succeeding, without having an AI tools as part of their practice.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's a co-intelligence that is greater. You working with it is greater than you working without it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Why would you not want that? Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. Well, you can go to horsesmouth.com/AI marketing, find out all the details and sign up. We'd love to have you in the program, in the workshop. And yeah, we'll be back next week with five more ways that you can improve your marketing using these AI tools. So
Great.
until
Thanks.
then, have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Take care.